Midweek round means a Monday edition of our EFL Championship Bold Predictions in association with Match Bingo. Nifty 50. If you're not already bored of hearing stats about the unprecedented form of the top two this season, then grab your popcorn. Wins at the weekend for Leicester and Ipswich took them to within a game of the 50-point mark. Leicester just need a draw at home to Millwall to get there. Ipswich need a win at Watford for the big 5-0. With Millwall having scored just a point in their last 4 games and Leicester being at home, you would be forgiven for thinking it's somewhat of a foregone conclusion. They'd get at least a point from that one. Ipswich at Watford needing a win, though, is a bit trickier. It's 1 defeat in 10 for the Hornets. You have to go all the way back to September for their last home defeat. The fastest ever duo to 50 points was Reading and Sheffield United in 2005-06. That took 23 games. Leicester and Ipswich getting it done in round 21 would represent yet another record down in this absurd championship season. That is not the only 50 I'm looking at this midweek though, so let's really stack this one up. We've been tracking that Leeds front four and their crazy levels of goal contributions this past few weeks, and they could get the half century up this midweek too. Business as usual this past round with James and Somerville both scoring and an assist for Reuter at Blackburn, taking the total up to 47 for the season. Leeds have a fairly tricky trip up to Sunderland in midweek, but I see no reason why the Fab Four of James, Pirro, Reuter and Somerville wouldn't rack up the next 3 goal contributions needed to reach this very nerdy milestone I've been obsessing over. These are bold predictions, so let's go all in. Both Leicester and Ipswich to pass the 50-point mark this midweek, and the Leeds front four to pass 50 goal contributions. I'm off to Watford versus Ipswich, by the way. Check out the vlog and check out Match Bingo to spruce up your evening. I have just got my card. Headed goal for Watford, that sounds like Rajovic, doesn't it? Ipswich attempt saved, well, they create so many, don't they? Yellow card in a minute ending in 7. Please don't be Sam Morsey, 1 game away from suspension with Norwich and Leeds the next 2 games up. Get involved using our link, matchbingo.co.uk/bbfc. Remember to play responsibly, and also that Match Bingo shares all their profits with good causes. Here is my partner, the Stroke Association. Rising Tide. You may have noticed I've used the heading Rising Tide for a couple of shows now, and I think it's pretty well deserved. The teams in the bottom 4 have gone from looking like being the final bottom 4 to really reeling in a few of the 3rd quartile over the past few weeks. Honourable mention to Huddersfield here, who are 4 undefeated, but it's really wins that move the needle. And Sheffield Wednesday have 2 in a row, QPR 3 in a row. What chance the tide keeps on rising then? It's a Wednesday night game for both clubs. QPR host Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday head to Norwich. They look okay fixtures, don't they? Carrow Road has been a bit of a ticking clock this past month or two, and Plymouth have yet to win a single away game in 10 attempts since their brilliant return to the Championship this summer. I want to be super bold, but surely both sides can't win again, can they? So let's soften it. Both QPR and Sheffield Wednesday to get something from their games, and 1 of the 2 winning streaks to continue. Now, you might see a YouTuber with millions of subscribers and views a week driving a Bentley. It's a bit more modest, I have to say, when you're covering the Championship. So if you can find a few quid each month to support over on Patreon or by hitting the join button here, you are making the world of difference for myself, Shaylee and Enid. Jeepers Keepers. My statistical meanderings tell me that there are no busier goalkeepers in the Championship than Birmingham's John Ruddy and Rotherham's Victor Johansson. Ruddy has made 71 saves at 3.6 per 90. Johansson 83 at a whopping 4.2 per 90. Will we get another busy night for both of them this midweek? Well, Birmingham and Ruddy head off to Cardiff, and Johansson and Rotherham host West Brom. To be fair to their opponents, it could be keepers on top, as West Brom have conceded the 3rd fewest goals and Cardiff are only 2 goals further back. They're also both fairly low in terms of their chance creation quality. West Brom come in 13th and Cardiff 18th for expected goals. All of this tells us we might be low on goals in these 2 games, so let's go bold and try and cap them both, I forecast there will be 3 goals or fewer in Rotherham versus West Brom and Cardiff versus Birmingham combined, and probably a fair few saves from Messrs Johansson, Ruddy, Palmer and Renarsson. Freshly squeezed. We've already got that most championship of situations, a massively squeezed group of teams in the playoff slipstream already. Southampton in 4th spot have 38 points. There's a 6-point drop to West Brom on 32. And then Sunderland in 6th have 30. All the way down in 15th, Coventry are just 5 points further back. Given there's so many teams in such close proximity, we are obviously going to have plenty of head-to-heads and plenty of position swapping as we head towards the new year. Top and bottom of our selection actually play one another. Coventry v Southampton. Blackburn versus Bristol City features 2 teams 2 points apart, and Middlesbrough and Hull are 8th and 11th, also only 3 points apart. Let's see if we can get my favourite home-away draw out of those 3 games. I wonder if Coventry versus Southampton would be the away win. Saints are on a brilliant 12-game undefeated streak, by far the longest in the division. They're obviously favourites when it comes to resources, and however tough Coventry are to play against, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Southampton will sneak this one by the odd goal. In terms of the draw, I don't mind either of the other 2 really. Hull want to move on from back-to-back defeats, and Middlesbrough are missing a lot of players at the moment. Perhaps Carrick and Rossignol would be happy with a point, you tell me. That leaves Blackburn versus Bristol City as the home win then, I guess. Not much between the 2, is there? I'd say Bristol City have the strength in possession, but Blackburn have the goal power, and goal power normally is the name of the game. Let's lock it in. A playoff squeeze treble of Blackburn home win, Southampton away win, Borough versus Hull, draw. Keep swimming. Sometimes in life you just have to keep your head down and just keep swimming. That's what this final collection of teams need to do. We have the managerless derby, that's Stoke v Swansea, and what could be a right old slog, frankly, between Huddersfield and Preston. Huddersfield love a draw, don't they? 9 so far, that's the most of any side in the division, and they've had 4 in the last 6. Preston ended their 3-game losing streak at the weekend with, you guessed it, a 0-0 draw. Stoke and Swansea is such an unknown quantity, isn't it? Will the Stoke players have some kind of new lease of life without Alex Neil there and perform well? Or will they lack leadership and crumble? Swansea were in the same place at the weekend. They got themselves a win, but they did put Rotherham bottom, and they faced 10 men for the majority of that game. With all of that being said, you can see how I'm heading inevitably right down the middle towards the double draw. I forecast Stoke v Swansea and Huddersfield v Preston, both to be draws. There it is. That is our latest bold predictions in association with Match Bingo. Have your say down in the comments. And if you want to stick with the channel, it was a busy day and a double upload yesterday. Click up here to see my off-the-cuff instant reaction to the sacking of Alex Neil at Stoke, making them the 10th club to change managers already this championship season.